You just checked your phone. No message. No missed call. Nothing. And for 1 second, your stomach dropped. You told yourself it doesn't matter. But your body knows better. Your body is screaming something you refuse to hear. What if they're not thinking about you? What if they're thinking about someone else? This feeling is not new. It is not modern. It is not even human. It is ancient. It is biological. It is the ghost of a decision your ancestors made millions of times before you were ever born. And the answer to whether ancient humans were loyal to one partner will change everything you believe about love, about trust, and about the person sleeping next to you tonight. Because here is the truth that no one wants to tell you. You are not designed for one partner. You are designed for 3, and they are all fighting inside you right now. Helen Fisher, the biological anthropologist who has spent 40 years scanning the brains of people in love, discovered something that shattered everything psychologists thought they knew. She found that human mating is driven by 3 completely different brain systems. 3, not 1. Lust, romantic attraction, and deep attachment. Each one lives in a different part of your brain. Each one has its own chemical cocktail, and they do not always agree. Lust is dopamine and testosterone. It is quick. It is impulsive. It is the urge to mate. Romantic attraction is norepinephrine and serotonin. It is obsessive. It is addictive. It is the feeling of not being able to think about anything else. Attachment is oxytocin and vasopressin. It is calm. It is patient. It is the feeling of safety. These 3 systems evolved for different reasons. Lust gets you to look. Attraction gets you to focus on one person. Attachment gets you to stay long enough to raise a child. But here is the counterintuitive twist. Attachment does not mean forever. It means long enough. Long enough for the child to walk. Long enough for the child to eat solid food. Long enough for the tribe to see you as reliable. That number is about 4 years. That is not a coincidence. In 2013, the anthropologist Rebecca Sear published a massive study on human reproductive strategies. She looked at over 100 traditional societies, hunter-gatherers, pastoralists, farmers, and she found that while most societies favor some form of marriage, the actual behavior is far messier. Serially monogamous, polygynous, polyandrous. It shifts with resources. It shifts with seasons. It shifts with death and war. There is no single universal rule. There is only a universal flexibility. Think about the Hadza, a hunter-gatherer tribe in Tanzania. They live almost exactly as humans did for the vast majority of our history. And in Hadza culture, divorce is common. It is not shameful. It is not dramatic. It just happens. Partners change. Children are raised communally. Jealousy is not absent, but it is managed. Why? Because survival requires cooperation. If you are too possessive, if you punish your partner for looking elsewhere, you break the trust of the group. And in a world without fences or refrigerators, the group is your only insurance. But let's go deeper. Let's look at the bones. Paleoanthropologists have studied fossilized teeth and DNA to reconstruct ancient mating patterns. One of the most famous studies came from the Max Planck Institute in 2011. They analyzed the genomes of early Neanderthals and Denisovans. They found that mating was not exclusive. It was not even species exclusive. Modern humans interbred with Neanderthals. Neanderthals interbred with Denisovans. Denisovans interbred with another unknown hominin. Your own DNA is a quilt of prehistoric hookups. That is not a scandal. That is a survival strategy. When populations shrink, when climate changes, when food becomes scarce, you cannot afford to be picky. You cannot afford to be loyal to a single partner if that partner cannot conceive. You spread your genes. You mix your blood. You keep the species alive. So why do you feel so strongly about monogamy? Why does your heart race when you imagine your partner with someone else? That is not evolution saying stay together. That is evolution saying guard your resources. In many mammals, males kill the offspring of rivals. Females hide their estrus to confuse paternity. Jealousy is not love. Jealousy is resource protection. It is the fear of investment wasted. And it is ancient. David Buss, the evolutionary psychologist, has studied jealousy for decades. He found that men and women experience jealousy differently, but they both experience it. Men become more upset by sexual infidelity. Women become more upset by emotional infidelity. Why? Because men fear wasting sperm on another man's child. Women fear losing a provider's attention and resources. That is not sexism. That is evolutionary logic. It is not rational. It is not fair. It is just old. But wait, there is another layer, an even stranger layer. What if loyalty is not about sex at all? What if it is about survival in a hostile world? Robin Dunbar, the anthropologist famous for his work on social groups, argued that the human brain can handle about 150 meaningful relationships. That is your tribe. That is your village. Inside that tribe, you need allies. You need people who will share meat when you are sick. You need people who will defend you when you are attacked. And the strongest bond you can form is with a partner who stays. A partner who proves over and over that they are on your side. That partner is not just a lover. That partner is a coalition, a military alliance, a retirement plan. Loyalty is not romance. Loyalty is insurance. Now look at your modern life. You swipe left. You swipe right. You date for 6 months. You move in together. You split up. You do it again. You feel like you are failing. But you are not failing. You are doing exactly what your ancestors did. You are testing. You are evaluating. You are building temporary alliances to survive a complex environment. The only difference is that your environment changes every 3 years. You change cities. You change jobs. You change ideologies. And you expect your relationship to stay the same. Consider the famous study by Kristen Hawkes on the grandmother effect. She showed that postmenopausal women were essential to human evolution. They gathered food. They raised children. They allowed younger women to have more babies. That means the human family was never just a couple. It was a network, a grandmother, a sister, a cousin, a friend. Monogamy was just one thread in a much larger fabric. You were never alone with your partner. You were always surrounded. So were ancient humans loyal? Yes and no. They were loyal to their kin. They were loyal to their tribe. They were loyal to anyone who shared their fate. But that loyalty was earned. It was daily. It was conditional. It was not a promise for eternity. It was a promise for today. If you hunted well, you ate. If you shared, you were shared with. If you betrayed the tribe, you were exiled. Exile was death. So you stayed. Not because you loved, but because you needed. Bernard Chippé, who wrote extensively on the evolution of pair bonds, argued that human pair bonding is not about sex. It is about parental investment. Human babies are helpless. They take years to become independent. You cannot raise a child alone. You need a partner. You need a helper. That helper can be a father, can be a brother, can be a grandmother, but someone must carry the burden. And whoever that is, you form a bond with them. That bond is loyalty, not to the person, to the project. The project is survival. You've probably never questioned it. The way you hold someone's hand, the way your chest tightens when they're late, the way you assume that deep down, everyone wants the same thing. But the real answer is far stranger. You are not loyal because you are good. You are loyal because you are afraid. You are loyal because you are hopeful. You are loyal because, 200,000 years ago, staying close to one person was the only way to see the sunrise. And somewhere inside you, that ancient memory still whispers, stay. It is not a command. It is a negotiation. And that negotiation is still open. Today, right now, you get to decide. Not your genes. Not your past.